And this week will also be crucial for millions of young people in the US. Their president is weighing an important decision. What should be done with student debt? If you're in the US, you know what I'm talking about. Student debt has become a burden on America's youth. How much money are we talking about? $1.6 trillion almost. That's America's outstanding student debt. Almost 40% of all Americans have taken loans to study. They spent years trying to repay it. You may have seen Hollywood plots revolve around it. Workers in their 30s still paying off loans or mortgaging their house to make the deadline. All of this happens in the US for real. But since the pandemic struck, they've got some relief. In March 2020, the US paused most student loans. The idea was to ease the pressure on workers. And since then, Joe Biden has extended it 4 times. The next extension is due on August 31st, end of this month. Biden could be beyond pausing the student debt this time. He may actually forgive it. Reports say White House officials are inclined to cancel student debt. They've set some conditions. A, only up to $10,000 will be cancelled. The rest will have to be paid. And B, the borrower must be earning less than $125,000 per year. If you meet these conditions, your student loan could be cancelled in the US. You may not have to pay it anymore. And I know it sounds like an easy fix. If the government can spend trillions on weapons, surely it can spend money on education. Well, not necessarily. Forgiving student loans is a political lightning rod in the US. The Republicans oppose it completely. They say students must earn their success. And they compare loan forgiveness to handouts. Democrats are on the other end. They're demanding a much bigger package. They want Biden to forgive loans up to $50,000, not $10,000. The ideal policy, I say, is somewhere in between. Why is that? Because loan forgiveness is a one-time fix. It does not help the next set of borrowers. Neither does it help people who have already repaid their loans. A much better solution is cheaper debt, which brings us to the root cause of this crisis. Expensive colleges. The US is one of the most expensive places to study. I have a list for you. The average tuition cost in the US is $8,200 per year. In Australia, it is $4,700. Austria, $900. Canada, $5,000. Denmark, Estonia, Finland and Germany, $0. Public colleges do not charge any money in these countries. If they can do it, why not the US? Why is the richest country in the world saddled with student debt? Because of 3 major reasons, and all 3 boil down to how US colleges function. Reason number 1 is the obsession with sports. Colleges are the first step to America's favorite pastime, professional sport. Whether it's baseball, football, basketball, all these sports are part of colleges in the US. Players start off in college, they get noticed by scouts, and then they get offers from professional teams, which means a lot of infrastructure and investments. Even elite US universities are obsessed with sport. If the team becomes successful, there's a lot of money to be made. I'm talking about sponsorships, ticket sales, merchandise. So colleges pump millions into developing state-of-the-art infrastructure. Reason number 2 is the emphasis on sprawling campuses. This includes massive dormitories, dining halls that beat restaurants, and so-called relaxing facilities. I'll give you an example. In 2018, a new trend emerged around US colleges. They began building lazy rivers. It's basically a mini water park near the college pools. Yes, the kids enjoyed it, but they probably won't enjoy the loans that paid for it. And finally, reason number 3, and probably the most important one, is lack of state funding. Colleges kept adding more facilities and luxuries on campus. At the same time, government subsidies kept disappearing. Again, I'll give you an example. In California, the state spends $1 billion more on prisons than colleges. So the tuition fees inevitably go up, and along with it, student debt. How can the US solve this crisis? Forgiving the current debt may sound attractive. It will also help millions of struggling Americans, but it is not a long-term solution. For that, the US needs a systemic reboot. The government must realize that education is not a luxury, it is a right. That's for all governments all over the world. It's not about water parks and sprawling dining halls. It's about giving everybody the opportunity to learn. And don't forget, we're talking about the United States of America. If they can fund endless wars in West Asia, they can surely teach children for free. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.